Welcome and thank you for tuning in to Cryptids, Creeps, and Conspiracy. The following content may involve explicit language and materials, so listener discretion is advised. Hey everyone, with me today is Chris with Spirit Cruise South Australia. Reached out to her on Instagram. She is gracing us with her presence. I am so very thankful. I wanted to give you a minute here at the beginning, have an opportunity to introduce yourself, what you do, what your background is, and that kind of thing before we kind of roam into the next piece.
So hi everybody. And thank you, Natasha. Sorry, Natasha.
You're right.
Yeah, for having me on the podcast. I've been interested in the paranormal all my life. So I've only been a paranormal investigator for about 12 months now, but we've been on many of hunts. I actually have two teams, Spirit Cruise South Australia and Night Watchers Adelaide, which are like side channels for the major ones, which is Spirit Crew Australia and Night Watchers Paranormal Australia. But yeah, not sure. My background is I'm just a mother of three, been a worker all my life. I'm now carer for my mum, but yeah, she comes out on investigations with us as well. So we've sorry?
That's so cool.
Yeah, she loves it. But we've done quite a few investigations in the year that we've been doing it. I've been over to Tasmania for a 5-day paranormal holiday. That was fantastic. Ooh. With Pete and Angela. Yeah, we've been to a couple of country towns, do lots of cemeteries because they're free. We go everywhere else, you've got to pay for it.
Can't beat that.
Yeah. But I've been to a few creepy cemeteries and had a few things happen there. I don't know if you want me to start talking about my experiences now, or do you want to?
If you want, you can. I mean, it's really up to you.
I'm fine. I've never done this before, so I don't know how it works.
It's okay. This is my first time with this structure, which actually some of the questions that I already had for you, you're already touching base on. So we're killing it.
Oh, cool.
So we're doing good.
Good. Okay. All right. Then also, well, I could probably start with my very first paranormal experience was when I was 10 years old. I was sitting outside. I don't know why I was sitting outside in the car by myself in the complete dark in a small country town called Corn. My Nana and Papa had a farm there. Yeah, but I was sitting out in the car and then I looked. It was like completely black everywhere except for the light in the car. And I looked out the side mirror and I saw these arms that were lit up and they had long fingernails, like long painted fingernails. I thought it was my auntie, and but it wasn't.
Okay, were they like human fingers?
Yeah. Okay. It looked. That's why I thought it was my auntie, because it looked like a lady's arms. They were crossed over, and I could see the long painted red fingernails.
Oh, geez.
And yeah, so. Of course, I got out of the car and ran inside because I realised, at first I thought it was my auntie, but then I realised it wasn't her because it was just the arms and there was no other body.
So the reason I ask is my first that I can remember experience that I had, I was also in a car. I was maybe 15, I think, at the time. And I was driving to my aunt's house, which was literally just across the literal pond. Not across the pond like you are, but literally small pond. And I was in the seat. I had both hands on the wheel. I was getting ready to, back the van up. And I just had this horrible, like, I could just, you just know. And out of the corner of my eye, there's something sitting in the passenger seat. But I'm by myself. And me being me, was very curious. And so I slowly turned my head. And there's the best way I can describe it is there's a Japanese movie called Spirited Away. And in that movie, there's a character called No Face. And No Face has a mask, like it almost looks like a ceramic, Japanese painted mask. But the structure of him, minus the mask, is what was in my seat when I turned to look. And it just had where the eyes would be. It was weird because it's all black. But where the eyes were, it was almost like if there was a color that was blacker than black. It was just deep. And like when I looked at it, it felt like it was draining, like it was pulling stuff from me, like deep, deep in there. And it was taking it. And it just had this long, oh my God, it's horrible. I'll never forget. It had this long arm that reached out onto the dashboard. And its hands had these really long, I mean, they were like jet black, super long, pointed fingers that were like stretched out on my dashboard. And I saw it then, and then I didn't see it again until what's really strange is all this really weird stuff started happening again about a month ago. And I woke myself up in the middle of the night. I was screaming bloody murder in my sleep, and I didn't know it. So I woke up because I was hearing screaming, not realizing that it was me doing it.
Oh, wow.
And then once I realized what was happening, I was like, well, that's weird. So I kind of laid back down, and I've never had sleep paralysis before, but it was like I was laying there and it's 3 a.m. So it's pitch black. But for some reason, all of a sudden, it's like I was awake and I was looking around and things were like I could see. And I was like, this is weird. I shouldn't be able to see. It's 3 a.m. And out of nowhere, the same black arm came out and it reached out to me, and just like right here on my arm with this long finger, it just scraped my arm 3 times.
Ouch.
And the thing is but it was very light. It was almost like a kitchen knife. It was super sharp, but it was just barely touching me, almost like it was like, I can hurt you, but I'm not going to. And it did it 3 times. And then I woke up and it was 10 minutes before my alarm went off and I had to go to work. But
oh, that's super scary.
Yeah. And that's almost 20 years apart. And I never saw this thing again until that happened. And what's weird is everybody's like, well, were you afraid? I was like, honestly, I was like, I didn't feel scared. I didn't feel threatened. I was like, this thing was coming at me, and it's like I recognized it. So I didn't even move. I was just like, okay, like, do what you got to do, man. And it did its thing. And then I woke up. So I was like, okay.
Wow.
We're good. So that's why I was curious when you said a hand. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. No, it was a normal human hand.
Mine didn't have pretty nail polish either.
Yeah, that's why I thought it was my auntie, because she always used to have really long and always painted nails. So, and it looked exactly like her, but it wasn't. It wasn't.
So strange.
Yeah.
And it was just the arm and the hand?
Yeah, I didn't say, and it was really funny because it was almost like a torch was like lighting up. It was like shining on and it was just the arms folded over. I didn't see anything else.
Huh.
So,
and you saw it through the mirror?
No, it was through the window.
Through the window. Okay. I wasn't sure. So I want to make sure. That's so interesting.
You know, I looked out because I was sitting in the back seat. I don't even know why I was sitting, and I'm surprised I even still remember it, but probably because it's one of those. Yeah. I just looked to the side and I looked out the window, and like, because I was in the back, so it was the back. I can't even remember which side. No, I remember looking to my right. So, yeah, it's and it was just there. So
when
very weird.
Were crossed, were they like crossed, or were they?
Yeah, that was sort of. I don't know. Yeah, sort of like that. Yeah.
I was wondering what the message, you know what I mean? Because like it could be like the stern, like, what are you doing in here or whatever?
Yeah,
or like,
what are you doing sitting out in the car by yourself in the middle of the night?
Yeah, like what are you
10
doing
years old?
Or it could just be, if you just had your arms crossed, it might just be like, I'm just hanging out. I'm just observing.
Yeah, probably. I'm not sure, but I remember I was like only 10, so that's crazy. Like I'm am I 57 now? So a very long time ago.
So did you ever see the same thing again? Or was it just that one time you saw just that one time?
That one time. Yeah.
In that area, because you said that you were on the farm and everything. Did you ever see anything else in that area? No? Okay. That's interesting.
No, very weird. Yeah.
Yeah, it
was a very old house. I'm not even sure if it's still there, to tell you the truth, but
wow.
Yeah. Old gorgeous house.
Crazy that it's So did you see it out of the corner of your eye before you looked, or could you like feel like you were being watched? Do you remember?
That I don't remember. All I
Okay.
remember is looking to my side and then seeing it through the window. Yeah. Maybe I sensed it was there and turned around.
Yeah, say because if it was on the same side of the car as you, did you like scoot on over to the other side real fast and get out?
Um, I think I got out the same side actually, and just
Hey,
run to the house. So
hey,
yeah.
you never know.
And because I was very scared of the dark when I was a child, so it was quite terrifying every time I was out there by
Yep.
myself, and maybe that might have been contributed to it. So
So I
um,
usually tell people it's not that I'm afraid of the dark. I am afraid of what is in the dark.
yeah, I think that's what my problem was too, because I could sense things.
Yes.
Because
So
we
that
we lived in a haunted house when we were living in Port Augusta when I was about that age. So, and I remember seeing things in that house.
and I sometimes wonder if they know, if they can tell who can and cannot see, hear, talk, whatever to them. I almost wonder if they know and they gravitate towards them.
I think
Maybe
they
it's my
do.
problem.
They could probably. I think they can sense if you're an empath, or can sense them. I mean, I've lost that ability now. I can't see them, but sometimes I can sense if they're around, because obviously if you walk into a room, you can feel the difference in
Oh
the
yeah.
atmosphere, and
Oh yeah.
sometimes it feels heavy, sometimes it feels creepy.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I can tell you about some of the. I've had quite a few since. I think I can't remember if it was before I become a paranormal investigator. My very first scare was I was on a I went on a ghost tour through this lady that I've become friends with, and she does a haunted doll tour in a very haunted museum. So
I have a friend that would hate that.
she's she's got lots of haunted dolls. So
Oh no.
it's through a thing called When the Lights Go Out. So I went on one of her. I've been on quite a few of her tours. I've had sleepovers there as well. That's another story I can tell you about. Is a fantastic experience that I went through. But the very first scare I had was I was on there probably about the third time I went there. Um, there's a cellar in this place. It's like a 2-story house,
Okay.
and there's a cellar in the place that they used to store dead bodies in, from the pub across the road. When somebody died in the pub, they would take them across there. I mean, this place
What?
is built in the 1800s. It used to be called Cobb and Co. It was like a stop for the horses and all that on their way to another place, just to stop to feed them and all that. I was down in the cellar anyway, and nothing much was happening. So I sort of like said, "Oh, there's nothing much happening here." I went to go step up the ladder, and there was a wall right here, and I got, "Come on," whispered in my ear. I terrified the bejesus out of me. My phone went flying up, and I don't even think my feet touched the ladder ruds on the ladder. It was yeah, very scary. And then every time I went into that room that the cellar was in, and I still do, every time I go into that room I get the heebie-jeebies.
Well, I don't blame you. So
Yeah.
was that the normal practice? Was to have a building nearby to stash bodies?
No, this at that time I think it was just a Cobb and Co, and there was a pub across the road, and they used to just like
Okay.
bring them across there to store them until they got fixed up. I mean, it was like a stop for the horses to have a drink, and I mean, I think it used to be a hotel. Then it turned into, I think it was a school, and then it was a family home, and now it's like a
Oh my
museum. So it's set
gosh.
up as an old fashioned. It's got all old, how they
Uh,
used to live in
yeah.
the 1800s and that. So yeah, and it's
That's
haunted.
really cool though.
There's a little kid there, and there's definitely a lady there. um, I felt the lady walk through me when I was going down the stairs.
Oh, oh,
And on that same night, I walked into what used to be the nursery, and it's now a sewing, what they call, they've turned it into a sewing room because they've got all sewing thing, to take a picture of one of Karina's dolls. And as I turned around to take a picture of the doll, the wardrobe opened. So, I mean, that wasn't as scary as the whisper in my ear, but
Oh my gosh, that is,
yeah,
oh my, that is
oh, it was
crazy.
terrifying. Yeah, no, that
Oh,
was probably my first scare as a paranormal investigator, was having that whisper in my ear. But yeah, and it was quite funny because there was a wall right there, because I
yeah.
had to, like, there was a wall there,
Mhm.
and yeah, and it was in this ear, and I was like, oh my goodness me. Whew, up the
Yes,
stairs I went. I
you
flew up
you
them stairs.
developed superpowers in
Yeah,
that
I did.
second.
Yeah.
That's just
Another
so crazy.
another incredible experience I had there was, like, I had a sleepover. I was actually the only one on the sleepover, which was quite amazing. I was there with Karina and her partner at that time. I actually said to her, why didn't you cancel it? There's only one person. And she goes, no, me and James wanted to do an investigation with you. So I'm like, oh, cool, thank you. So
Cool.
we were in one of the main rooms. We had all the light. We were sitting on a big, huge, large table, just the three of us, and we had cat balls all around the room. And the cat balls were going off in sequence around the room. Then myself and Karina felt like a breeze underneath the table, and we sensed a child spirit there. And I had this app called Paralis, which is sort of like a Ovulus. And I had actually, because I knew there was a little kid ghost there, I'd taken a toy car.
Oh,
My Ovulus said engine. So I went, oh, I've got a car here. So, I mean, I've got audio of it, but you're not allowed to film in that place. So I wasn't,
oh yeah.
and also it was dark anyway. So I got the car and I sort of like just went like that and pushed it like towards the wall, and it come flying back at me.
Oh my
It was amazing. At first it startled me, so I jumped on my chair and I put both my legs were wrapped around Karina, and we were both like sort of like
gosh.
laughing with because it was like oh my god, we got ourselves together. We apologized to the child spirit, said we're sorry